שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שיר לאדוני, שיר לאדוני, שיר לאדוני. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נכדי אוצר, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אל. שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נכדי אוצר, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
A chassid came to visit his rabbi. The rabbi asked the chassid, "Why have you come here?" The chassid replied, "I have come to find God." The rabbi, with a twinkle in his or her eye, responded, "For that, you didn't have to come here, since God, whose glory fills the entire earth, can be found everywhere in the world." Surprised by the rabbi's reaction to his statement, the chassid asked, "Then why indeed do people come here to you, to the rabbi?" To which the rabbi answered quietly, "People come here to find themselves." Tonight, I want you to close your eyes, put your feet flat on the ground. Relax your hands, your face, your body, and take a deep breath. Why are you here tonight? Are you here to see friends, to say Kaddish for a loved one, to revel in Shabbat, to pray for those in need of healing, to find God? No matter why you are here, may you find the words on the page, the words in your heart, and the melodies in our voices join together as a way to find God and find yourself, lifting yourself out of self-doubt, anxiety, towards love and gratefulness. Let the light of the Shabbat candles, which are going to be lit tonight by Corey Palmer, center us as we begin our service on page 3.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Please join me in Kiddush on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei b'ri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodshon ve'ahava v'ratzon inchilanu, zikaron le'maaseh ha'bereshit, ki hu yom tehillah u'likra'ei kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Ki banu v'fatah, v'tanu kidyashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshcha, ve'ahava u'ratzon, inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha'shabbat.
L'chaim. We continue as we rejoice in Shabbat on page 12 with Lehu Neranana.
Let us sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God a new song.
turn to page 20 for Lechado D as we welcome that Sabbath spirit into our lives, into our bodies, our minds, and our hearts, really bringing alive this spirit of Shabbat. We join together, obviously, in the chorus, but also in verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach that 9th verse, Bo'i v'shalom, we will rise, turn, and face the entrance to our sanctuary as we beckon that spirit towards us. If you are joining us on live stream, turn to the nearest door. Find that place in your heart. It doesn't have to be right here in this sanctuary. We sing Lechado Di all over the world, beckoning that Sabbath spirit towards us. So join us here and at home.
And actually, Rabbi, tonight,
Oh.
surprise, we're going to sing verses 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah.
April Fools! I got a little nervous there. So just kidding. Reminder, it is 1, 2, 5, and 9.
Why would we do that?
That Sabbath spirit, let us greet one another, wishing each other a Shabbat Shalom. Let the people know around you you are happy they're here.
Shabbat Shalom, Sandy.
We continue on page 26 with Chatzi Kaddish as we remain standing through Shema. Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro ma'ariv arabim, bechokma potech sha'arim, uvitvuna mishaneh itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakira kirtsono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uben layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid imloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch ata Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
On page 32, we usually will read one of the English versions of the Ahavat Olam prayer, which reminds us of God's love for us and reminding us that we should love God fully. Tonight we're going to sing a song that we've sung a few times called We Are Loved, and I hope you'll join in. The chorus is We are loved, loved, loved by an unending love. We are embraced by arms that find us, even when we are hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us, even when we are too proud for soothing. We are consoled by voices that guide us, even when we are too embittered to hear. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are supported by hands that uplift us, even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that meet us, even when we are too weak for meeting. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. Embraced, touched, soothed, and counseled, ours are the arms, the fingers, the voices. Ours are the hands, the eyes, the smiles. We are loved by an unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, 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 loved by unending love and unending love. And we continue with Shema on page 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto You may be seated. Please join me on page 36 with the Hafta. V'yafta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'otecha v'hayu הדברים האלה אשר אוכלים את צדקך היום על לבביך ושיננת לבניך וסרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים עליכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
On the top of page 39, we read responsively. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot.
That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness.
That there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 42. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up our guardian to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
Israel.
We rise for the Amidah on page 46.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elokei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Chasei Avot V'imahot, U'mevii Gvura Livnei Neveim, Le'man Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah Rav le'Hoshia, Moshiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechakeh chayim b'chesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofeh cholim, U'matir asurim, U'mekayem emunato lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'gevurot, U'midom melach, Melech memit u'mechayeh, U'matzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh shimcha kadosh, U'kadoshim b'chayom yaladucha salah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. Page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Together at the bottom of page 57. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha be'ira na'avod. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. On page 60, we join together in our prayer for peace. Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people forever. For you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people Israel in every season and moment with your peace. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. We take a few moments now for our own silent prayers. Page 245, Seder Kriyat Torah, our service for the reading of Torah. Assemble the people, men, women, and children, and the strangers in your cities, to hear, to learn, to revere Adonai your God, to observe faithfully the words of this Torah, and let their children who do not yet know it hear, that they too may learn to revere Adonai your God. We rise in honor of our Torah.
Adonai melech
page 247, we read responsively. In this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now.
Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it. Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah. Le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shmo. Gadol Adonai iti unomema shemo yachtav. Lecha Adonai Agdara Agdara Hatiferet Lehanetzach Lehaod. Kicho bashamayim uvaretz. Kicho bashamayim uvaretz. Lecha Adonai Amocha ve'amit noseh lechol erosh. Mitzion tetzei Torah Adonai Yerushalayim. Mitzion tetzei Torah Adonai Yerushalayim. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah Adonai Yerushalayim. Mitzion tetzei Torah Adonai Yerushalayim. Baruch Shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael. Baruch Shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Mitzion tetzei Torah Adonai Yerushalayim. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah Adonai Yerushalayim. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah Adonai Yerushalayim. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah Adonai Yerushalayim. Baruch Shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael. Baruch Shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Mitzion tetzei Torah Adonai Yerushalayim. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah Adonai Yerushalayim. No excuse for not knowing that song by the end.
You may be seated. Not only knowing the song, but now I gotta breathe. Whew. Whew. All right. Welcome to Tazria, part A of the most detested Torah portion, many a B'nai Mitzvah student, and frankly for us rabbis too. It's a Torah portion filled with laws about menstruation, purification rituals following childbirth, menstruation, and procedures for those inflicted with sara'at, the affliction that many have come to translate as leprosy. As much as I didn't want to give a sermon on this text, I was inspired by some of the commentaries. Many commentators will talk about sara'at as a medical condition, one that impacts the skin and the health of the one afflicted with it, and one that can be contagious to anyone who comes into contact with it. However, other commentators say it has nothing to do with the actual physical notion, but a spiritual sickness, an illness which can infect our souls. It sounds heavy, but I have definitely been plagued by it. On Shabbat morning, our clergy team has recently added in Elu Devarim, the reading on page 88. It reads, "These are the things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world, while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all." The text comes from a variety of Talmudic discussions on the importance of being Jewish and those things that we can fulfill. The idea of the last line, the study of Torah encompasses them all, according to Joel Hoffman, an American scholar and Hebrew translator, implies equality in some sense, but the Hebrew does not say clearly what sense it is. Is studying Torah like each mitzvah taken separately, or like the entire group of mitzvot mentioned here, taken together? This question plagued me, pun intended. Here we are, still in the throes of COVID, our modern day plague, and yet some of the things listed in this prayer, Elu Devarim, are things that were difficult to engage in for the past 2+ years. Personally, I didn't feel like it was a reading I should share with the congregation because I was bogged down in my own self-doubt. I'm not able to deal graciously with guests, to visit the sick, to provide for the wedding couple, to attend funerals that I wasn't officiating. It felt as if I wasn't able to fully perform these mitzvot, and thus I was not being a good Jew and definitely not a good rabbi. This past week, I spent time in person with more than 300 of my rabbinic colleagues in San Diego for our yearly CCAR conference. It was the first time I was able to gather with them in 3 years. A huge focus of the conference, no surprise, was hope. Learning how to be resilient, to lead in our communities when we are feeling burnt out, and to recognize the things that we are grateful for, no matter how hard they may be to uncover. To be resilient and to not burn out, I was reminded of the importance of self-care, which is not a solo act, even though it sounds like it is because it includes the word self. Truly, it is something that we need help with by the people around us. We need care from others to be able to take care of ourselves. In our Torah portion, the priest, Aaron, is the one who will come to the afflicted, the tzara'at, and check on them to see what their progress is like. He doesn't send a messenger. He doesn't send somebody lower than him. He goes out of the city and encounters them personally. He shows them that they are not alone, even when they are in quarantine. He cares for these people, even when it is maybe their inner self that is being afflicted and not just a medical condition. To not be burnt out, I was urged to answer the questions, what is my purpose? Why am I in this, being the rabbinate? What am I here to contribute to this work? What is the superpower or core offering that will lead to some impact that matters for me? These questions are daunting, but they allow us to figure out what we need from life, even if we don't serve in the rabbinate, how to strive for boundaries and balance, and for me, discovering that rabbinic purpose. Armed with that idea of purpose, Larry Dressler, a rabbinic coach and instructor of my course, Rabbi as Supervisor, that I finished last year, explained that we must be willing to dance with imperfections. We are human. We are going to have imperfections. What he encouraged was for us to look at how we live in the world and try to make sure it is not focused on our failures, to live in the moment, to let things flow, to not let our thoughts sabotage our greatness. And lastly, at the conference, we were encouraged to realize the things we are grateful for and have hope for the future. I felt pretty solid on this one, as I do a gratitude journal every night, reminding me each night the wonderful things that happened during the day, a suggestion given to me by Lauren. However, I realized that Joel Hoffman's question was still in the back of my head. Is studying Torah like each mitzvah taken separately, for example, or like the entire group of mitzvot mentioned in Elu Devarim, taken all together? Looking at the other footnotes on the pages of Mishkan Tefillah, I was reminded that Talmud Torah, the study of Torah, offers the knowledge of what is right and how to live justly. Jewish study includes the expectation that the lessons will be applied to life. I may not do each of the things listed in Elu Devarim perfectly, but that is not the point. I need to trust myself, to be proud of myself, to live with hope. In fact, we all do. Rabbi Olitsky writes, our parsha may be about leprosy to ancient folk, but Tazria is not about sickness of the body. It is about the disease of the soul, a disease to which we are all susceptible. And what is frightening is not the wounds that require constant attention, but rather that with all the good we have to offer, there remains a dark side, a misalignment of character. And when we forget what Torah is teaching, that is when it erupts. When we believe that we have reached that level of moral perfection, Tzara'at comes to remind us we are human. The disease lives inside us, and only a light as bright as Torah, illuminating our lives, can diminish or help us overcome the darkness. May we take these words as a reminder that we all have that darkness inside of us, and we are human. We need to be there for one another and the acts of Torah, the ones that allow us to come together as a community, to connect with God, to live out social justice, and so much more. These are the ones that can lead us to hope, guide us away from burnout, and recognize that which we are grateful for each and every day. Shabbat Shalom. We are going to read from our Torah portion from chapter 13, verses 1 through 3. I would like to invite up the 20s, 30s, whoever wants to come up that considers themselves in that group, to do our Torah blessing.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMorach. Baruch Adonai HaMorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, ve'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe ve'el Aharon emor, Adam ki yeh ve'or b'saro se'et o safachat o v'heret ve'haya ve'or b'saro lenega tzara'at ve'huva el Aharon hakohen o El achad mibanav hakohanim, v'ra'a hakohen et hanega be'or habasar, v'se'ar b'nega הנגע הפך לבן, ומראה הנגע עמוק מאור בשרו, נגע צרת הוא, וראהו הכהן וטימא אותו. Which means, the Eternal One spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, when a person has on the skin of the body a swelling, a rash, or a discoloration, and it develops into a scaly affection on the skin of the body, it shall be reported to Aaron the priest, or to one of his sons, the priest. The priest shall examine the affection on the skin of the body. If hair in the affected patch has turned white and the affection appears to be deeper than the skin of the body, it is a leprous affection. When the priest sees it, he shall pronounce the person impure.
Now you know really why it is not the most desirable of Torah portions. Our blessing after reading Torah, I forgot to give you the page number, 250.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chaye olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Thank you. As we think of these words, we think of the tzara'at, the one who is in need of healing of body, but also of mind and of soul. We think of those who are in need of that healing, and we whisper their names aloud or see their names on the screen. We join together in the words of Mishaberach, which can be found on page 253.